Holy cow. What, just a cow? Yeah, these are really tough to do, and I feel like this is one I'm probably not going to do it justice. We all knew that Lou Holtz was going to die, and he did. He was 89, because here a little while back he entered in hospice care. So whenever hospice care gets involved, you can pretty much know that they're coming to the end of their time here on Earth. So we all pretty much knew that Lou Holtz was going to pass away. And Lou Holtz, to me, he's up there with like the John Maddens. You know, he's one of those characters, one of those humans that came along that don't come along too often. People wish they could be half as good as a human as Holtz was. I'm not saying this because he died. People were saying this when he was alive. I even had thought that in my past, because I always liked Lou Holtz. He was a great personality on TV. He was a great coach. So there's no question about it. Holtz's time here on Earth was pretty well spent. And a lot of former coaches, players, people he worked with in the booth, ESPN, they're all coming out and they're talking about the human being of Holtz. And it's all positive. There isn't many people that when they're spend their time here on Earth, there isn't many that pass through here where there's no negative things that they say about it. So like John Madden, there was nothing negative about him. That doesn't happen often. Now, what do I remember most about Lou Holtz? Actually, a lot. But one thing I do remember the most, and unlike a lot of people, his dream job was Notre Dame. That was his one goal. I've watched interviews of him over in the years past, and that was his one goal that he wanted to do. He wanted to coach at Notre Dame, and he wanted to win a national championship, which he did both there. And that was 1988. They weren't ranked too high. They weren't one of the favorites, but they were ranked in the preseason at 13. And they ended up beating Miami, and they had like 31-30, Catholics versus convicts game. And so they ended up winning 31-30, and then they pretty much cruised for the rest of the season to, they had like a close game with Michigan, 1917, but besides that, they had cruised to a national championship. And it was Holtz's, one big goal that he wanted to accomplish, and he did accomplish that at Notre Dame. Now, when they're talking about Notre Dame, a lot of the traditions that are there now were started by Holtz when he took the job. Like the play like a champion sign when they're getting ready to leave, the locker room, and they hit that. That was started by Holtz himself. He removed the names from the back of the jerseys to emphasize, teamwork. He introduced, the mask the day before a game. All that was started by Holtz himself. And those are traditions that Notre Dame, which is a Catholic school, if you don't know, is something that they continue with to this very day. And I think they will probably continue to do that in honor of the great Lou Holtz. Now, what's the other thing that I think about Lou Holtz? He was a success almost wherever he went, whether it was at William and Mary, whether it was at North Carolina State, Arkansas, Minnesota, Notre Dame, South Carolina. He went to a lot of different programs, and almost everywhere he went, he led them to bowl games. Not everyone led to a win, but almost every program he went to, he led them to a bowl game, and there's Pretty Girl. And one other thing, when you're talking about Lou Holtz, you almost always have to bring up his New York Jets stint. Yes, that was the one place that he did not succeed. He probably shouldn't have taken an NFL head coaching job, but he did, and he didn't quite finish the season, missed by one game. He was 3-10, and his quote about that was always funny. He said, "God did not put Lou Holtz on this earth to coach in the pros." And unfortunately, that is the case with a lot of college football coaches. They're not put here to coach in the pros, as corny as that may sound. Now, Holtz had a lot of quotes. I can't talk about all his quotes, but a lot of his quotes I do remember, but I did write them down. But a lot of his quotes I do remember. And some of his most famous quotes I remember is like, "I follow 3 rules: do the right thing, do the best you can, and always show people you care." And I think that is something that everybody should live by. Do I try to do it? Yes. Do I succeed? No. Nobody fully succeeds on that, but at least you can do is try. Don't ever promise more than you can deliver, but always deliver more than you promise. I've always loved that quote from Lou Holtz because it's actually precise and right on the money. If what you did yesterday seems big, you haven't done anything today. Boy, that's true. And this is one that I wish I had known about this before, because maybe I wouldn't have done it. But anyway, don't tell people your problem. Don't tell your problems to people. 80% don't care, and the other 20% are glad you have them. And that is entirely accurate. Now, I probably didn't do this as much justice as I would have liked to, because Lou Holtz is one of those people, and I wish I could honor his legacy a little bit more than just doing barely a 10-minute video. Holtz deserves a lot more than a 10-minute video. And that's exactly the way I feel about it, because Holtz is one of those humans, and there isn't many, that come along that you go, you know, I wish I could have met that person just once in my lifetime. And that is very rare to say about a famous person. He never let the success that he had went to his head. He never forgot about the people. He never forgot about his loved ones. He never forgot where he came from. He never forgot that. And that is very rare in a human. And Holtz his time was short here on Earth. I know, well, 89's not short. But what I mean by that, your time here on Earth is short. I mean, see, 89, that's about 2 days heaven time. There's no question. I don't like to get too religious in my video, but there's no question Lou Holtz is going to heaven to be with his wife, who passed away in 2020 from cancer. So there's no question that they are reunited in heaven. And you know what? I wish I could add more to this. I just feel like I didn't do it justice. I tried to do as best as I could, but I just feel like I didn't. I don't know. I just have trouble with these because it's hard to put into words what you think of somebody that you never met, but you know that they lived a great life. And Holtz at 89, that's a pretty good life to live here on Earth. I don't want to be that old. 75 is my goal. But you know what, Holtz? May he rest in peace. And yes, he will be sorely missed here on Earth. No question about it. And maybe hopefully someday I can get to meet him. Who knows? Who knows what will happen with that? Me and Mom are saying that's all for now.
That's all for now.